Chumash and Rashi for Wednesday, Parshas Miketz. And let's get started. So, page 22, the Chayenu, verse 53. The 7 years of plenty, Ashraver and Sraim, the 7 years of plenty that were in Egypt had ended. Rashi, no Rashi. Nundalid. And the 7 years of famine had just begun to come. Kasher Amar Yosef, as Yosef had said. And there was famine in all the surrounding lands, but throughout the land of Egypt there was bread. Okay. Nun Hey, 55. The entire land of Egypt hungered. And the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Pharaoh said to all of Egypt, go to Yosef Hashem Lechem Tasu, whatever he tells you to do, you should do. Rashi. The entire land of Egypt hungered. How'd they hunger? Didn't they stockpile wheat and grain for 7 years? Says Rashi, Shirkiva Tvasim Sha'atzru Chutz Yosef. All the grain they had stored up had rotted except for Yosef's federal stockpiling. Oi. Asher Lechem Tasu, do whatever he tells you to do. What's going on here? What is he telling him to do? So it says, Rashi gives the backstory, which is from the Medrash. When they came to Yosef saying, our grain rotted, and now please give us grain from the Federal Reserve. Yosef said, you got to get circumcised. They didn't want that. They went to Pharaoh and they said, this is what he said to us. He said, you only give us grain if we, thank you. Only give us grain if we, what do you call it?
Where does it say that, where does Rashi say that, what page? Does Rashi say circumcision? Yo, I see it.
Yeah. So they came to Pharaoh, they said he wants a high price of circumcision. So he said to them, Pharaoh said, well, why didn't you listen for 7 years to stockpile grain? He said, the famine's going to come. You brought this upon yourself. So Amalai, the subjects of Egypt, said, we did stockpile a lot, and it rotted. He said to them, if so, he said, whatever he tells you to do. For he has decreed upon the grain and it has rotted. What if he lays a decree upon us? We shall die. In other words, that's what
a fundamental question. Why is Yosef? Why would Rashi think that Yosef wants them to be circumcised?
So the simple answer would be this is the Medrash is extrapolating. But if you want to know why the Medrash is extrapolating, Rashi's bringing it down. The reason Rashi's, I'm guessing the Medrash and Rashi feels that's a very valid inference. Is it says Pharaoh is saying whatever he's telling you to do, you shall do. Like when did he say to do anything? Read the verse. Where did Yosef say to do something? Yosef is the COO of Egypt. He's the chief operating officer. Okay, they have problems. They want grain. They're going to go to the CEO. You don't go to the CEO. You don't go to the king. The king is even more removed than the CEO. You go to the COO. So they go to Yosef and they say, Yosef. You assume they went to Yosef, right? Right?
Yeah.
But it says they didn't go to Yosef. They went to Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh says, go to Yosef. Why wouldn't have they gone to Yosef? Yosef is the guy in charge, the architect of this project of stockpiling grain for 7 years. Why are they going to Pharaoh? Crying to Pharaoh. This is my guess. Why are they crying to Pharaoh? Why? She says, go to Yosef.
He was the big boss, but Pharaoh doesn't have time for it.
Why would you go to the CEO? You'd go to the COO. The project manager, the chief project manager of this project is Yosef. Wouldn't they go to Yosef first? that make sense? What do you think that?
No, sometimes you try to go above somebody. You try to.
You go above after you first try. Yes, you go above after you first try.
And if
Governments are set up.
somebody asked me to circumcise myself, I would
That's
go.
the point. That's
I
the
go to the
point.
CEO.
That's your point. That's exactly the point. You asked, why does Rashi infer from the Medrash that the circumcision is because if you read the verse straight, there's something missing here. They're going to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's saying, do whatever Yosef says. Like, shouldn't they, you would assume that the process, they would have gone to Yosef, and if that didn't work, then they go to Pharaoh. And that's exactly what happened. They did go to Yosef. The verse doesn't say it outright, but the Medrash is giving you the inference. They did go to Yosef. Yosef demanded a high price. He's demanded circumcision. And they didn't want
it. I don't understand why we want them to circumcise themselves, though.
So I think the reason, we're going to see later, it says in the verse, they actually literally, explicitly, they circumcise themselves. And why they circumcise themselves, I think Yosef is brought down. But before we get to why, let's understand the verse. You asked the question, why does Rashi say this? Why does Rashi take it at face value? Because at face value, there's something missing. What's missing? Why are they going to Pharaoh and he's saying go to Yosef? Like, obviously, they should have gone to Yosef. So what's the answer? They did go to Yosef. And Yosef demanded something, a high price. What was the high price? Circumcision. We'll say why that was soon. Then they didn't want to do that. They go to Pharaoh. What's this monster COO, Yosef, who's demanding it? So he says, wait a second. Pharaoh says, wait a second. Why are you coming him to grain? You should have your own grain. So we can go up there. I do. Go there and call me. You have a phone? If there's an issue, I'll come over. So he says, we had grain, but it all rotted. He said, oh, yes. Don't mess. I know Yosef is asking a high price of circumcision, but obviously he has some power on his side. So I'm sorry, whatever he tells you to do, you got to do. Because somehow he has power. He decree that your grain is going to rot. And let's say you don't listen, he could decree on us that we'll die. So it's in your best interest to listen and get circumcised. About your question, why circumcision? The basic idea is, I believe that's going to be the daily insight of today. Let me just double check. Yes, we're going to wait till the daily insight because that's where it's going to talk about that at the end of the class.
It's puzzling.
Okay, good. Stick with the puzzlement, and then you'll enjoy the fresh cup of Torah insight when we get there.
I'm expecting a lot from it.
Thirsty for the answer, and you'll get a good answer. You'll enjoy the answer. Okay. The entire land of Egypt hungered, and the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Pharaoh said to Egypt, go to Yosef and do whatever he tells you to do. Nun Vav. I'm sorry, I skipped. I repeated myself. The famine was upon literally the whole face of the earth. Yiftach Yosef is Yosef opened all the grain storehouses that he had. And he sold produce to the Egyptians, to Egypt. Yes, but the famine land of Egypt worsened. Rashi. Al Kol Pnei Aretz says there was famine on the face of the land. Mihem Pnei Aretz, who are the face of the land? Elu Hashirim, these are the wealthy people. So it's a euphemism. It was so bad, even though the rich people were suffering. The Medrash says why they call the face of the land, because they have a smiley, happy face. Because when you're rich, life is good. And then when a person's poor, they're emaciated. They're embarrassed to show their starving face in public. Yeah. Vayishbel Mitzrayim. It's called Shabam. He opened all that was to him. As Uncle says, he opened up all that had in them, all that had grain, all the storehouses that had grain in them. The word shever means buying and selling. Shever is the expression can mean buying or selling or buying. Here it means selling. We see later, it's used in the term of selling. Sells a little bit of food. Lashon kinyan. And don't think this term of shever is only for grain, particularly buying grain. It can mean for all food. It sounds like it means for, we see elsewhere in the Tanakh, it's used for milk and wine. Okay.
It has another meaning to break up, to smash. And that
Right.
might be in some way related to this.
So you know what? In the Tauber Chumash, they have the lexicon sidebar on every page.
Yeah.
Look there. I'll bet you'll find some interesting stuff because this is just Rashi's opinion. But if you want to give a quick glance of other commentaries giving you a translation of a term, you just look on the sidebar. It says lexicon. And
Okay. Thank you.
Nun Zayin, all the inhabitants of the surrounding country came to Egypt. The Shpral Yosef to buy produce from Yosef. Because the famine had worsened throughout the land. Nun Zayin, all the country came to Egypt. Al Yosef the Shpral, the whole country came to Yosef to buy produce. If you would explain in the order it is written, it should have said Lishper Yosef to to transpose the next words. El Yosef Lishbar. They came to Yosef to buy. Because otherwise we need to buy from Yosef. They came to Yosef to buy. If we mean to buy from Yosef, it would have been the word min, not el, whatever. It's a grammar thing. Okay. Vayar, next pasuk, chapter 42, Membeis Aleph. Vayar Yaakov ki yeshem Mitzrayim. Yaakov saw this produce being sold in Egypt. Vayem Yaakov, and Yaakov said to his sons, Lama Tisro, why do you allow yourselves to be looked at? Vayar Yaakov yeshem Mitzrayim. Yaakov saw there was produce being sold in Egypt. Where did he see this? Isn't that he didn't hear, but he saw? He didn't see, but he heard. It says, I heard. He saw. Yaakov saw in a holy vision that there's food in Egypt. He didn't have total prophecy, that this is Yosef. Why do you show yourself? Why do you show yourself before the children of Ishmael, the children of Esav, as if you had plenty to eat? Because at that time, they still had some grain. So why are you showing your neighbors like as if you're good? Everybody's starving, you're good. You get a little bit of food, but you don't have food for long. Rashi says the simple meaning of is more simple. The simple why should we look at you and be wondering that you're not seeking food for yourself before your supply runs out? Actually, there's another Rashi from others, from Tosfos, says that it means the expression of leanness. Why should you become lean with famine? Why should you become starving with famine? Lean, as it's thin. But so you have three interpretations. One is, why are you showing yourself as if you have plenty to eat when you don't have so much left? Number two is, why are you showing yourself whatever? And the other one is, why should you become emaciated with famine? Thin. He then said, I heard that there is produce in Egypt. Go down there and buy produce from there. So we should be able to live and not die. Rashi redu shama, go down there. He did not say go, he said go down, redu, unusual terminology. Usually go, lechu, go. What's redu, go down? So the answer is, and the simple reason is Egypt's in the south. But another reason is that it's a hint for the 210 years that they were enslaved to Egypt, the numerical equivalent of Redu. Redu is Gematria. Alan's a Gematria guy. Redu is 210.
Yeah.
He didn't realize there's laced with prophecy there. You're going to go down for 210 years.
Wow.
Gimel Vayerdach Yosef Asada. The brothers of Yosef went down as 10. Lishprabar Mitzrayim, to buy grain from Egypt. Gimel Vayerdach Yosef. The brothers of Yosef went down. Like Chazam and Yaakov, didn't say the sons of Yaakov. Lamashem Mischartim Mechrasei. Teaches us they've regretted having sold him. So it says now the brothers of Yosef, not the sons of Yaakov, the brothers of Yosef. It's an interesting reference because at this point they had really done tshuva and felt they're brothers to Yosef. And they vowed that they're going to treat him as a brother from now on, and if they find him, they're going to redeem him from slavery, for whatever price it costs. Asara, 10 brothers. Why is it 10? A second later, we're going to say in verse 4 that Binyamin didn't go. Do the math. 12 minus Yosef minus Binyamin is 10. Why are you saying 10? Because the answer is they loved Yosef as a brother. Even though they did tshuva, there was different levels of love and hatred that they had to him. Interesting. Even at this point. It sounds
When they hated him, maybe.
yeah, that's what I thought, but it's weird to say. As an addition, let's see here. So very good. The Kahas Chumash is really, I'm telling you, when you have a question, sometimes they just, the way they translate, annotate, it takes care of it. We just said they all love Yosef. They're called the brothers of Yosef. They have the brotherliness. They have brotherhood. They have love to Yosef. And now Rashi says that they're 10. That in the level of brotherliness, there's different levels. They all have different levels of love to him, some more, some less. But in order to buy grain, they're all united. As well as they add there in the Kahas Chumash, that they were willing to do whatever it takes to buy grain and to buy Yosef. Interesting. I wonder if it's Masicha, but it's interesting. That would flow better. Because you're talking about they all loved him. They're saying they don't love him. Love him. It was complicated. There's different levels of love, but in practicality, they were willing to do whatever it takes to get him. I wonder where they get that from. It's probably from Masicha, which is a commentary on the Rashi. I would to see that. Next page 4. Dalid. Binyamin, Yosef's brother, did not Yaakov did not send the brothers. For he said, Pen Yikran Osin, lest an accident happened to him on the way. Rash Pen Yikran Osin, Abayis looking at Osin, at home will not happen to him. Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Yaakov, said, here we learn that Satan accused at a time of danger. You're on the way. Person needs more merits because more danger on the way. So your record of goodness is more under scrutiny. Yeah. And anyways, that's what he can say Binyamin. The way is dangerous, particularly for Yosef's brother Binyamin and Rachel's son, because they both died when they're on traveling, right? At least Yaakov thinks that Rachel died on the way, and Yosef, in his mind, died at this point as he was traveling to Shechem. Hey, the sons of Israel came to acquire grain amongst the other comers. Egypt. Because there was famine throughout the land of Canaan. So they came with other Canaanites. Rashi, hey, they mingled amongst the others to not be recognized. Their father commanded that they should not appear at the same entrance, but that each one enter at a different entrance. In order that no evil eye would affect them. For they're all handsome and all strong. Okay, Yud, Vav. Yosef hu ashad al-aretz v'hu mashpil l'cham aretz. Yosef was the governor of the land. He was the one who sold produce to all the people of the country, l'cham aretz. V'voyach Yosef, Yosef's brothers came, v'yishtachu le'apayim arza, and bowed their faces to the ground. Rashi? No, Rashi. Oh, yes, Rashi. V'yishtachu le'apayim, they bowed themselves, their faces down, meaning they prostrated themselves to their face. Every hishtachavoya doesn't just mean bow, and we say bow, we mean like that. When they say hishtachavoya, it means prostrating, hands, feet, face. Zion. Yosef saw his brothers and he recognized them. And he saw his brothers recognize them, and he acted like a stranger to them. He spoke to them harshly. And he said to them, where you come from. They said, we came to the land of Canaan to obtain food, to buy food. All right, Zion. Rashi, he acted like a stranger to them. It says, he acted like a stranger, speaking harshly to them.
He must have disguised his voice as well.
Yeah. Let's see Rashi. Let's see next Rashi. The next passage. Yosef recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Rashi, Ches, he recognized them. Rashi says simply because he left them bearded. They were old already. They did not recognize him. He did not have a beard when he departed them at 17. Now that he had a full beard. The Medrash Haggadah says, Yosef recognized his brother. Yosef recognized his brother. When they were given over, the Medrash is more like a metaphorical, like proverbial, that he acted like when he was at their mercy, they acted like they didn't recognize him. They didn't have mercy on him. They didn't treat him like a brother. But he, when they're at his mercy, he treated them like brother. He cared about them like brothers. Okay, Tess. Yosef remembered the dreams that he dreamed about them. And he said to them, you are spies. You've come to spot the land's exposed points. He had dreamed to them. He dreamed about them. He knew that they had been fulfilled, for his brothers had indeed prostrated themselves to him.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
So another reason they didn't know is because they changed his name, right?
Sorry?
His name was changed. So Zohar brings it down. It says it's one of the reasons why his name was changed to protect, so they wouldn't know his essence.
They wouldn't know his essence. Very good.
Recognize him. I meant recognize.
Right. So he remembered the dreams he had, and he said, "You are spies. You've come to see the nakedness of the land." Rashi, he remembered the dreams he dreamed about them, and he realized they're happening now. They're bowing down. Eretz Aretz, says Rashi. Eretz means nakedness. It means exposed points of the land. You've come to see the weak points so you can conquer the land. Every type of Erva means usually means nakedness. It means exposedness. Targum Unkelis Bidka Data. Unkelis translates a little differently as the you've come to look at the cracks of the land, the weak point, the cracks, the cracks of security. Bed the kabayis, the ua, the bias. Actually disagrees. It's not so good with the language. Okay, Yud. Vayemre love Loyadoini said to them. They said to him, Loyadin, no, my master. Your servants have come to get food only. Loyadoini. Rashi says, no, my lord, not like you said. Rather, we've come to get food. No, our master. No, my master. No, my lord. That's not true. We've only come to get food. It's if to have the Ella, rather. Yud Aleph, Kulona ben Ish Echad Nachnu. We are all men of one man. We're all sons of one man. Kainim Anachnu. We are truthful. Lo Yavdechan Raglim. We were never. Your servants were never spies. Rashi. Kulanu ben Ish Echad Nachnu. We are all sons of one man. What are they saying here? We're all sons of one man. We're all sons of one man. What does it mean? They didn't realize it's saying a prophecy. You too are. We're all sons. A spark of prophecy came out from them. They didn't realize they're saying that we are all brother. We're all one. Wow. He's also the father of their son. Kainim is an unusual word. It means amiti. It means truthful. They said, we are your servants, all 12 brothers. We're all sons of one man in the land of Canaan. Behold, the youngest is today with her father, and the other one is gone. Rashi. Yud Gimel. We are servants of 12 brothers. Your servants are 12 brothers. I'm sorry. I skipped. I'm sorry. I skipped Yud Beis. He said to them, no, you've come to see the exposed part of the land. Rashi. He says, you've come to see the land's exposed points. You entered by 10 different gates of the city. Why did you enter by the same gate? They said, we're all servants of one. We are your servants, all 12 brothers, all sons of one man in the land of Canaan. Behold, the youngest is today with her father, and the other one is gone. And for one other brother, the other one who's gone, we are dispersed among the land. Yudalid. Yosef said to them, this is what I told you. You are servants, you are spies. Rashi, what does it mean? They said, we come to look for our one missing brother. Proof, you're spies. Why is that proof? This is what I said to you. The matter that I spoke that you are spies is the truth. That's his own meaning. It says, I don't want to hear your Baba Maises. You're spies. End of story. The Midrash actually explains why he's saying, no, you're spies. Again, he's like, keep saying you're spies. Why? He said to their last claim, we've come to find our missing brother.
How did they know he went to Egypt? They could have sold him anywhere. How did they know that he went to Egypt?
They knew the caravan was going down to Egypt. I think they knew the caravan was headed to Egypt. Anyways, anything could happen, but it was probably in Egypt. And Medrash says to them, Medrash says this is what's going on. The Medrash says, yes, if you had found him, the brother you're looking for, if you would find him, the owner of him would demand a lot of money, would you redeem him? And they said to him, yeah, we'd redeem him. They said to him, if they said to you that you would not, you're not going to give him back without even for money, what are you going to do then? So they said, the Medrash tells us, we're going to kill or be killed. We're going to fight to get him back. If he's not going to pay, they won't sell him back. He said, oh, you're dangerous warriors. You've come to kill the city. You just said to yourself, you're willing to fight if someone is holding your brother. You're You guys are dangerous warriors. You just said it yourself, you'd kill if they wouldn't get your brother back. And I actually have a divination. I divine in my goblet that I sense the two of you killed the whole city, Shimon and Levi. Tezvav, Bezois Tibachenus. He says, however, even though I think you're spies, here's how we're going to test you. Here's how it'll be tested. Chei Pharaoh, by the life of Pharaoh. In Teitzum Mizeh, you will not leave from here until you bring your youngest brother here. Rashi, Chei Pharaoh, by the life of Pharaoh. Im Yichya Pharaoh, Pare, if Pharaoh lives. When he would swear false, he would swear by the life of Pharaoh. Im Teitzum Mizeh, he will not leave this. He will not leave this place. Tazayin. If the truth is with you. Therefore, the hay is punctured with a patach because it's similar to an expression of a question. It's like, if the truth is with you. Imloi, did I say Tezayin right? Pasuk, send one of you back. You all stay here. You'll get your youngest brother. The rest of you will be in prison. And we'll test your words. If it's true. If it's not true, if you're not, then by the life of Pharaoh, you're really spies. Rashi says, if not, you do not bring him, then by the life of Pharaoh, you're spies. So just a note here, Yosef's original proposal was they're all going to be prisoners. Besides one will get to go bring Binyamin back. Yud Zayin. They put them in prison. He put them in custody for 3 days. Mishmar is the prison house. Yudches, Yosef said to them on the third day, this you should do and you'll live. And so I fear God. Rashi. No Rashi. I think he's saying, basically he's going to say, tomorrow I have a second proposal. You don't all have to be imprisoned. You can all go back and I'll just hold one of you prisoner. And that ends today's Chumash. Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger.
Out of the prison, and here's what